Hey, I'm Nate.
And I'm Skye. Welcome to Say It Real, the podcast that helps you speak real English with confidence.
We kick things off with good vibes and real talk.
So grab your headphones and let's get started.
Have you ever, just told yourself, ugh, I just don't have time to learn English? Because honestly, you are so not alone.
Right? It's 2025, and with all the distractions around us, social media, work, life, it can really feel impossible to commit to those long, hour-long study sessions. Like, who has that kind of time, really?
Exactly. And that's kind of what we want to talk about today. What if we told you that learning English fluently doesn't actually have to take hours a day? Like, seriously.
Seriously, in this episode of Say It Real, we're diving into this really powerful method that's totally changing the way people become fluent. It's called microlearning.
Yeah, microlearning. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's short, it's smart, and you know what? It really, really works.
It's all about fitting English into your life, not rearranging your entire life for English, which for most of us is just not feasible.
And to really show you how this works, let me tell you about Lewis from Colombia. I mean, his story is it's so common, you know?
Oh, I know, Lewis. He was stuck at that B1 level for years, right? He just couldn't seem to break through no matter how hard he tried, or actually, no matter how hard he couldn't try because he had no time.
Exactly. He was working full time, he had a family, so finding an hour to just sit down and study properly, it was impossible for him. He couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's the struggle for so many people. They just can't carve out that big block of time. So what did he end up doing?
Well, he heard about microlearning and decided to give it a shot. And here's what he did. Every morning, literally while he was brushing his teeth, he'd listen to a short, 2-minute English tip.
Oh, that's clever. No extra time needed, just, part of his routine.
Exactly. And then on his bus ride to work, instead of just listening to music or scrolling, he would repeat short English expressions out loud. Phrases he'd heard or wanted to learn. Just repeating them.
Just practicing that output even for, what, a minute or two?
Exactly. And then every night before bed, he'd spend just 5 minutes watching English reels on social media, with the subtitles on, just absorbing.
So it wasn't about forcing himself to study for hours. It was just these tiny, consistent moments.
Yeah, totally. And after just 3 months, Skye, he noticed something crazy. He was speaking more naturally. He was remembering vocabulary without even trying to memorize it. And get this, he was actually starting to think in English.
Wow, that's incredible. So just those small, consistent bursts of English every day totally changed his fluency in a really short amount of time. That's so inspiring.
So Skye, I mean, seeing Lewis's story, it just begs the question, right? Why is microlearning so effective for learners, especially now, in 2025? What's the secret sauce?
Honestly, Nate, it's really about how the brain works, we actually remember small things way, way better than huge chunks of information, especially when we see or hear them often.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's trying to cram for an exam versus just reviewing notes every day.
Exactly. It's like TikTok, right? Those 10-second videos, those little snippets, they stay with you so much longer than a 1-hour lecture on, I don't know, quantum physics. Our brains are just wired for that kind of bite-sized input now.
Right. And I think another huge part of it is that learners don't feel so overwhelmed. They're not thinking, oh my gosh, I have to find 2 hours today to study English. Instead, they can just fit English into their actual lifestyle instead of trying to completely rearrange their whole life for English, which is, impossible for most people.
Yeah, that's such a key point, Nate. It's about integration, not obligation. And plus, learning every single day, even if it's just 5 minutes, it actually builds fluency way faster than studying once a week for an hour.
Oh, definitely. It's that consistent connection.
It really is. It's all about building momentum, that consistent exposure. The more you see it, the more you hear it, the more you use it, even in tiny doses, the more it sticks. It's powerful.
That's such a great point about momentum and exposure, Skye. And it brings us perfectly to some of the key concepts and vocabulary we really want to highlight today. We're going to break down words like consistency, chunk, retention, input, and output.
Yeah, these are like the building blocks of why microlearning actually works, right? So let's start with input and output. When we talk about input, we mean hearing and reading English. It's like, what you're taking in. And output is about speaking or writing in small doses, putting it out there.
Right. So it's not just passively listening, it's also actively trying to produce it.
Exactly. And the brain needs both. It needs consistent input, so regularly hearing and reading English, and then quick output. Even just like practicing a short phrase out loud, when you hear it.
And that brings us to consistency, which, you've mentioned it a few times already, but it's so critical, isn't it? It's not about the marathon study session once a week. It's about those daily tiny moments.
Absolutely. Consistency is king here. 5 minutes every day is infinitely better than 2 hours once a month. Your brain it just expects that regular drip feed of information. It builds those neural pathways more effectively when it's like a steady stream.
Yeah, it's like building a habit, right? It's easier to do something small every day than to try and do a huge, overwhelming task once in a blue moon.
Totally. And then there's chunking. This is a big one. Instead of learning isolated words like apple or big or red, you learn full expressions or what we call chunks.
Oh, like I'm about to, or could you please, instead of just memorizing about or please on their own.
Exactly. Or even something like it's on the tip of my tongue. That entire phrase is a chunk. Or how's it going? When you learn these chunks, your brain creates stronger memory links because you're learning them in context. It's more natural.
So it's not just vocabulary, it's like a mini phrase library you're building.
Pretty much. And the final piece of the puzzle is retention. This is about how well you keep information in your memory over time. And this is where repetition, especially spaced repetition, comes in. Seeing or hearing something again after a little while.
Yeah, like that Lewis example, right? He was hearing and repeating those short expressions every day.
Yeah, that's it. That regular exposure, that repetition over time, it helps you move those words and those chunks from your short-term memory, where they might just live for a few hours, into your long-term fluency. So you can just, grab them without thinking about it.
Ah, so it's like short, smart, consistent input and output, chunked into natural phrases, repeated over time for long-term retention. It really is a powerful method.
Exactly. And hearing all of this, it probably sounds great in theory, but people are probably thinking, okay, how do I actually do this? What does micro-learning look like in my daily life?
That's the million-dollar question, Skye. So we've put together 5 really easy, super practical tips that our listeners can start using today, like right now, after this episode.
Love it. All right, tip number 1 is something I actually started doing recently, and it's surprisingly effective. Set your phone's lock screen to a new English expression every day.
Oh, that's smart because how many times a day do you check your phone, right? You're getting that exposure without even trying. Like every time you unlock it, boom, there's your English for the day.
Exactly. It's like a passive, constant reminder. You see it 20, 30, 50 times a day, It just sinks in.
All right, what's tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is for all the social media users out there, follow one English learning TikTok or Instagram page and commit to watching just one reel a day.
Oh, that's so doable. We're already scrolling, right? Just instead of watching another cat video, watch a quick English lesson. That's genius. And those reels are usually like under a minute, 2 minutes tops.
Yeah, they're designed for micro consumption. It's like built for this. All right. Tip number 3 is kind of a classic productivity technique, but we're adapting it for English. Use the Pomodoro technique. 5 minutes of focused English study, then 25 minutes of rest or whatever else you're doing.
So it's like a super short burst. You're not committing to an hour. You're just saying, okay, for these 5 minutes, I'm really going to focus on English, and then you get a break. That feels way less intimidating.
Right? It makes it feel like, oh, I can definitely squeeze in 5 minutes. You can do that literally anytime.
Okay, tip number 4?
Tip number 4, listen to just one English mini podcast during breakfast or, while you're commuting or even just like making your coffee. There are so many short podcasts out there now.
That's perfect. Like our episodes even, we try to keep them pretty digestible so you can fit them into those small pockets of time. It's about consistent input, right?
Exactly. And our final tip, tip number 5, is one that might feel a little bit weird at first, but it's incredibly powerful. Talk to yourself for 1 minute in English before sleeping, out loud.
Oh, I remember doing this when I was learning Spanish. It feels awkward, but you really start to think in the language, and it's just you, so there's no judgment.
Yeah, there's no pressure. You can just narrate your day or describe what you're going to do tomorrow or just, say goodnight to yourself in English. It's about that output we talked about, even if it's just for you.
So to recap those, lock screen expressions, 1 social media reel, Pomodoro for 5 minutes, a mini podcast, and talking to yourself for 1 minute. These are all so easy to integrate, Skye. It's exciting.
Nate, we've talked about all these practical tips, but sometimes it's also about our mindset, right? Like what we tell ourselves.
Absolutely, Skye. Your internal dialogue, it's super powerful. If you're constantly thinking, I don't have time, then you won't make time.
Exactly. So we want to give you, our listeners, some really powerful phrases, some mantras that you can, repeat to yourselves. These are designed to really help you embrace this microlearning mindset.
Yeah, think of these as daily affirmations for your English journey. We're going to say them, and we want you to repeat them after us. Try to really feel them,
Okay, are you ready? Let's start with the first one. Repeat after me, slowly, the first time. I'm short on time, but I can still learn.
I'm short on time, but I can still learn.
Nice. All right, next one. Just 5 minutes today is progress.
Just 5 minutes today is progress.
Yes, every little bit counts. Okay, now this one's really important for how our brains work. The more often I hear it, the better I remember.
The more often I hear it, the better I remember.
See? That consistency, it's magic. And finally, one that kind of ties it all together, microlearning fits my life.
Microlearning fits my life.
Amazing! So let's say them all together now, a little bit faster this time. Really make them your own.
Yeah, let's feel the power of these.
I'm short on time, but I can still learn.
Just 5 minutes today is progress.
The more often I hear it, the better I remember.
Microlearning fits my life.
There you go. Those are your microlearning mantras. Say them to yourself throughout the day whenever you feel that little voice saying you don't have enough time. These are your reminders that you can do this.
They're like little positive pushes. And it really does make a difference, shifting that internal narrative. Okay, now that we've got those amazing mantras, how about we do a little quiz just to see how much you've been paying attention and, to reinforce some of these ideas.
Ooh, I love a good quiz. And actually, this is kind of a microlearning moment in itself, isn't it? A quick check-in.
Exactly. So this is a true or false quiz. We'll give you a statement, and you just decide if it's true or false based on what we've been talking about today. Are you ready?
Ready. Let's go.
All right. Here's the first one. True or false? You should study English for 2 hours every Sunday to become fluent.
What do you think? Give yourself a second.
And the answer is false. Remember, Consistency and daily drops are more effective than like one long, overwhelming session once a week.
Definitely. Okay, next one. True or false? Speaking just 1 minute a day in English can actually help you improve your fluency.
Think about Luis and his bus ride.
And the answer is true. Absolutely true. Even a minute of output, like speaking to yourself, adds up over time. It's that momentum.
All right, number 3. True or false? You must memorize long lists of individual words to learn English effectively.
This one's important.
And the answer is false. We talked about chunking, right? Learning full expressions and phrases, not just isolated words, build stronger memory links. It's much more natural.
Yeah, I'm about to is way more useful than just knowing about. Okay, last one. True or false? Microlearning is only for beginners who are just starting to learn English. Is it just for people at the very beginning? And the answer is false. Microlearning is for everyone at any level, whether you're B1, B2, C1. It helps you integrate English more deeply into your life, no matter where you're at.
Nice job, everyone. And Skye's right. Even taking this little quiz is a form of microlearning. Just a few minutes, testing your knowledge, getting that quick input and output, it all counts.
That was a fun quiz, Nate. I really love how we can wrap up a segment with something interactive like that.
Me too. And, speaking of wrapping things up, it feels like a good moment to just quickly recap some of the key words and phrases we talked about today, just to make sure they really stick.
Oh, absolutely. It's so important for retention, right? See, I'm using our vocabulary already.
Exactly. So let's go over them quickly. First up, we had microlearning. Remember, that's those short, smart, daily bits of English practice that really add up.
Yes, and then we talked about consistency. That's doing something regularly, even just a little bit every single day, which is so powerful.
And chunking. That's not learning single words, but learning whole phrases like I'm about to or could you please. It helps your brain create stronger connections.
We also covered input and output. Input is when you're hearing or reading English, and output is when you're speaking or writing it. You need both for balance.
And then retention. That's how well you remember things. Microlearning really helps with long-term retention because of the repetition.
And finally, those two super useful phrases that we want you to make your mantras. I'm short on time, but I can still learn.
And just 5 minutes today is progress.
Remember these words and phrases. Try to use them or at least recognize them in your own English learning journey this week. It really helps to reinforce what you've learned.
Well, Skye, we've covered so much today. I feel really good about this episode.
Me too, Nate. It's just so important, what we really want listeners to take away from this is that you don't need more time. You just need more intention.
Exactly. Microlearning, it's really your secret weapon, isn't it? It's not about finding huge blocks of time you don't have. It's about optimizing the little moments you do have.
Yeah, and just 5 minutes a day, truly, it can absolutely change how you feel about your English, how you speak, and honestly, how you live your life with English in it. It's pretty powerful stuff.
So keep at it. Stay consistent, stay curious, and always remember fluency doesn't come in a rush. It doesn't. It comes in daily drops. You've totally got this.
You really do. And we're here cheering you on every single day. We truly love making these episodes for you.
Absolutely. And if you're enjoying Say It Real, please take a second to subscribe to our channel. It really helps us reach more learners like you.
Yes, and we'd also love to hear from you. Leave us a comment. Tell us, what was your biggest takeaway from today's episode? Or, what's a topic you'd absolutely love for us to talk about next time?
Your ideas really help us shape the show, so don't be shy.
That's right. Keep going, one step at a time, everyone. You're doing great.
We'll catch you next time on Say It Real.